In late 2022, thousands of investors woke up to find their cryptocurrency wallets empty. The trading app they'd been using for months, an exchange that promised safety, speed, and guaranteed 20% returns, had gone dark overnight. Its website was gone, its founders had vanished. More than $1 billion in Bitcoin and Ethereum had disappeared into the blockchain's shadows. This wasn't an anonymous hacker attack or a one-time glitch. It was one of the largest organized financial deceptions in digital history, hidden behind sleek branding and celebrity endorsements. And most of the victims never saw it coming. The platform called itself NovaCoin Exchange, a name that sounded just credible enough. It offered zero-fee trading, instant withdrawals, and an AI engine that supposedly predicted market movements with 94% accuracy. Influencers flaunted screenshots of profits. Ads filled YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram promising passive income for the crypto generation. Behind the scenes, the site was a facade. There were no real trading pairs, no cold storage wallets, and no regulatory licenses. The entire interface was an illusion, a dashboard displaying fake numbers designed to look like real crypto profits. When investors tried to withdraw, they were told withdrawals were temporarily paused due to high network traffic. That message never disappeared. For months, the scam grew. Every day, new deposits poured in. Hundreds of dollars from ordinary people, tens of thousands from small-time traders, and millions from hedge funds that failed to vet the platform. What fueled the frenzy was trust. NovaCoin's founders appeared on podcasts, wore suits, quoted Warren Buffett, and claimed to be backed by a Singapore investment group. Their biggest weapon wasn't technology, it was psychology. They understood the perfect storm of greed and FOMO, the fear of missing out. Crypto prices were rising again. Investors who'd missed the previous bull run didn't want to be left behind. NovaCoin promised them a shortcut, double-digit returns with zero risk. By the end of 2022, NovaCoin claimed to manage over $5 billion in assets. It even sponsored esports tournaments and charity drives to appear legitimate. But the empire was built on vapor. The first cracks appeared when a handful of users noticed inconsistencies. The blockchain addresses shown on the dashboard didn't exist on public ledgers. Transaction IDs led nowhere. A Reddit thread titled, "Is NovaCoin a Scam?" went viral for a day before being deleted. Anyone who questioned the platform was banned from the official Discord. Then came the collapse. In early 2023, the site went offline for maintenance. Investors refreshed the page every few minutes. 12 hours later, the app stopped loading entirely. Emails bounced, customer service lines were dead. Within 24 hours, NovaCoin Exchange had vanished, taking over $1 billion worth of user deposits with it. The panic that followed was chaos. Telegram groups formed overnight as victims tried to trace the money. Some claimed to have screenshots of wallet addresses. Others posted video testimonies breaking down in tears. One man said he'd mortgaged his home to invest. A college student in Brazil had put in his entire tuition fund. The realization hit everyone at once. The exchange they trusted had never existed beyond a handful of rented servers and slick marketing videos. What happened next turned the scam into legend. Investigators discovered that NovaCoin's founders were not entrepreneurs from Singapore, but a small team based between Dubai, Estonia, and Nigeria. Using fake passports and shell companies, they'd created layers of anonymity across jurisdictions. The stolen crypto was laundered through mixing services, tools that jumble transactions to erase ownership trails. By the time law enforcement pieced together the chain of wallets, the coins had already been converted into privacy tokens, then into cash through smaller exchanges scattered across Asia. The masterminds were gone, their real identities buried beneath layers of digital fog. Experts later called NovaCoin a Frankenstein Ponzi. It combined old-school deception with modern tech, influencer marketing, AI buzzwords, and crypto hype. What made it so effective was that it never promised impossible wealth. It promised believable profits, steady and realistic enough to lure cautious investors, too. In truth, the money flow followed a familiar pattern. Early investors were paid returns, using deposits from new ones. The fake AI trading dashboard kept everyone convinced that profits were real. And as long as withdrawals appeared to work for a few early users, no one questioned it. The story didn't end with the collapse. Months later, the FBI's Cybercrime Division and Interpol announced a joint task force to track the missing funds. They traced about $320 million, roughly one-third of the total, through multiple chains. That money is still locked in wallets under investigation. The rest remains untraceable, likely sitting in private cold wallets or spent long ago. Meanwhile, the victims were left with nothing but screenshots and regret. Online forums became support groups. Lawyers launched class action suits that went nowhere. For many, the emotional loss outweighed the financial one. People who'd once believed in technology and innovation now couldn't even look at the word crypto without anger. NovaCoin wasn't the first billion-dollar crypto scam, and it won't be the last. From OneCoin to FTX, history repeats because human behavior repeats. The technology changes, the emotions don't. Greed, trust, and the illusion of safety remain the perfect ingredients for deception. The real question is, how do we stop it? First, transparency must be non-negotiable. Any exchange that refuses to show verifiable wallet addresses or audited reserves should be treated as guilty until proven otherwise. Second, regulation can't remain a gray area. When platforms operate globally but answer to no one, accountability becomes impossible. Third, education is everything. Investors need to understand that consistent profits in a volatile market are a mathematical impossibility. The lesson of NovaCoin is that trust without verification is the new currency of crime. The victims weren't careless, they were convinced. They saw other people winning and believed it was safe to join in. By the time the truth emerged, it was too late. But there is hope in awareness. Each exposed scam, each video like this makes the next deception slightly harder to pull off. When people learn how these schemes work, they begin to ask questions, and every question slows a criminal down. The billion-dollar crypto scam you've never heard of isn't just about money. It's about the psychology of belief. It shows how in the digital age, con artists no longer need to steal your passwords. They just need to borrow your trust. So the next time you see a promise of guaranteed returns or an influencer showing off impossible gains, remember NovaCoin. Remember that $1 billion vanished not because people were stupid, but because the illusion was perfect. And perfection in the world of scams is always the first red flag.